right, everyone, it's Black Spring with Autumn on your Saturday, March 2nd, 2024. I hope you guys are doing well out there. This is a little bit of a mobile stream. Of course, in this case, when I do mobile streams, sometimes I'm not quite sure the quality of the signal. So if it goes in and out, I'm pretty sure, I'm aware that that's going to be a probable case for doing a mobile stream. Okay. But I know I brought up a specific liner earlier this week, and and none of the premise that I'm going to bring up is anything new. We've been talking about food supply and sustainable practices, or the practices that the elite, that they would like to implement, whether it's under the influence of the WEF, or they've all been speaking the same trends for a while. Okay, so let's just go with it. Hi, Charlie Siegler. Good morning to you. Okay, so I started out this week. I just want to give you a few more specifics. So I ran into this piece from Food Engineer on the Tyson Foods. Now, Tyson Foods, if I'm not mistaken, has been in the news before regarding some of their practices, some of the closures. I think years ago, Tyson had all these wholesome family commercials about, Tyson Foods, what was it? Tyson's feeding you like family. I remember those particular commercials back in the day. But Tyson, I think, for the lack of a better phrase, perhaps they've been compromised. Been a bit of compromise there. The integrity of it. And for people that work at the packing plants, I've always heard, it seems like I remember even as a younger kid or a teenager hearing horror stories about those people that actually worked in their processing plants. Maybe even the work conditions were not quite what they weren't the best. Okay, so now let me move forward. Okay, so Tyson apparently has taken on this endeavor in which they are investing in a partnership with a company called Protix. Now, when I say Protix, that rings a bunch of bells. One bell goes off in my head. Protix. It's spelled Protix. Protix. Now, apparently, the Protix partnership is, I guess it's a part of it's an initiative that they're doing to join the insect ingredient industry. They want to expand. They want to be a part of the new trend, or the new plan for sustainable protein. Okay, so, and then everybody, it's about the dog food. The dog food has got you see how they go through. They'll use something else, which is eventually going to filter into the human food processing. Okay, so first I've heard people say, the dog food, there's dog investment in the U.S. Okay, so is that allegedly, I guess to me, I imagine this is a phase that they're going to be going into. The first phase, and one of the first utilizations for this facility will be for them insect ingredients to provide a protein source for dog food. Okay, and then from there, they're going to be breeding, hatching, incubating larvae for the human food processing, meat processing. That's going to be added to your food. So when it's added to your food, you see what I'm saying? Some people all joked about, Klaus Schwab and the bug, the bug liners or whatnot. But that's how it's going to be done. It's always a gradualistic process. It's always going to be about something else. It's going to be always a problem with something else, a problem with the dog food that actually offers a solution to the human food. That's what's going on. Okay. So, if I have any stripes in here, beware. If you look at the double digits in the viewers, I was up at 2-0 almost, which is unheard of on this channel. But anyway, I'm going to get back to the point here. So the point is that this new facility, this new U.S. facility, is going to not only be used for the expansion of the insect ingredients and for the processing of those ingredients for dog food, repurposed for dog food. It's also going to be it's actually going to be eventually added to your food. But that facility is going to be used, this Protix facility that they're building, the 2B facility is going to be used for the breeding, hatching, and incubating and then larvae for food, to add to the food consumption. To add to the food protein supply. So this is all about more sustainable. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just that, it's also going to be used to feed livestock. Livestock will be fed. They're going to include this food, this protein source into the livestock and even into plant feed. So you see how easily you're going to be consuming something, whether you think you're a vegetarian or you're vegan or whatever. They're going to find a way to put these other sources of this insect protein into every single thing that you consume. That's what the agenda is. And this is Food Engineer. You can look it up for yourselves. Like I said, this is a mobile stream right now. I'm not dropping the link line right now, but it's definitely something that you can find. It's out there. But yeah, so everything that you touch, how do you know? We've heard about mealworms and we've heard about these things. Back in the day, what was it? The Saved by the Bell episode, in which, or maybe it was some other show, some other little chintzy show, in which somebody was having chocolate covered grasshoppers. I'm telling you, they are. Yeah, if you think about Beetlejuice, like, you see how it's like to be, it's on some level, it was predictive programming, it was entertaining, yet predictive programming at the same time. Gary Gage is here. I'll get to your guys' comments. I see you for sure. But yes, it's going to be Gary Gage. I recently found a dead. What? I'm sorry. Let me look at this. Hold on. This is recently I found a dead opossum in the barn. It stank. It was full of. Oh wow. Yes, it is a whole mess. But notice my stripes in here. If you see anything that's looking a little blasty, a little TROLLS, or like trolly, go ahead and whack them. If you got the tool, whack them. Because I see that they're pouncing on this. I don't know, in dark they seem to be thriving They seem to be thriving in numbers in the darkness there. So hey, let's see. Oh boy. But yes, certainly they're engineering. They're getting into things that are not. They're not going to be good. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine if they're starting to actually engineer the protein? So you will not be getting the protein. The protein source changes. If your protein source changes, to me, that's going to change. That's going to affect people's health. If people are eating synthetic, if people eat more synthetic protein, or protein that we don't know, we're not clear what the source of it is, I think that would make people more prone to more diseases, or make people more deficient in vitamins. You know, like you already have synthetic vitamins. You already have. Hi, Derek C. Williams. How are you? Derek C. Williams, I will be sending you a message soon this morning. But yes, so I'm going to read your guys' comments as soon as I get a chance here. This is a little mobile stream here. Okay, he says, darkness, respect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, look at the food labels every time it's being engineered. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, like, in all honesty, I think a lot of people are reacting. I think a lot of people's immunities and a lot of people's body reactions, we're already reacting to the amount of engineering that's been done already. If you have any type of, I don't want to say pre-existing condition, or I'm not even going to mention the mocktails, the amount of mocktails that most of us, that this culture demands. Many of the, yikes. Sorry about that, guys. The demands from the mocktails that we've gotten, it's no wonder that people, you need it, Derek C. Williams, you need it. So what I'm saying is, you know, for the amount of mocktails and stuff that we have in our systems, we've never questioned anything. We've never questioned the mocktails from the past. And that's a problem. You know, you have a lot of people that are choosing not to do that with their children. And I respect them 120%. Because just because somebody is telling you to do something, you know, look at this generation. I mean, we've got 3-4 generations. We've got babies with all kinds of upper respiratory problems, all kinds of, I mean, it's beyond like, it's beyond things like ear infections. I mean, food allergies. I mean, where does that come from? I mean, where does that come from? Kids that can't even be in the grass. Like, you know, back in the day, kids used to be able to play in the grass and roll around in the grass. This daytime and hour, most kids can't stand to be in a pile of leaves. They can't. And I you know, it's something's going on. They can't even stand to be in a pile of leaves because their body can't, you know, they're just, I don't know. But when you start messing around with your immune system, you're messing around with your immune system, whether you want to or not. To me, you're testing it. You're playing with it all the time. So there's a lot more people that are saying, "Hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing 75. Whatever the number." Shout out to Derek C. Williams. I'm sure he knows the stats. Please feel free to drop your links. I'm sure he knows the stats or what's been. I mean, these poor kids. But I'm just saying, a lot of what's happening, I think, is happening because of what's been injected into our systems. That's what I'm on about. I think a lot of what's going on has been largely injected. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Because you're just not going to be, and I'm going to tell you, like, there's certain foods that I eat, I'm going to be honest, I just swell, like, just swelling. Somebody once told me your health is in your gut. Well, I think that's largely true. But when and then I had somebody say, oh, you got a hold of some bad food. Well, I'm like, well, that doesn't tell me anything. That could be anything, right? If you're a professional and you tell me I got a hold of some bad food, well, where? But you're not, is that medical professional going to identify what's the source of the bad food? You say I'm inflamed, but what's the source of it? What is the source of it? I'm not out here, I'm not the one that's feeding the livestock at that particular time. I wasn't growing my own food. I wasn't engineering. I'm not an engineer of food. I'm not even a scientist or a biologist. Didn't even major in biology. Of course, I took biology in 3 different I might have taken biologies in 3 or 4 different to engineer for any of it. But if I got a hold of some bad food, whose fault is that? Is that the USDA's problem? There's no recourse. Most things that we're finding out, or even that the doctors will point out, there's no repercussions. There's nothing for you. There's no recourse for a consumer. There's no recourse for anyone. So I don't even give me anything that's incriminating another industry, because you're not going to identify what it is. You're not going to identify the source of the criminality without implicating yourself. You'd be sacrificing yourself if these doctors exposed everything that they know is wrong when they get people's results, or when they start talking about inflammation. Well, what's the source? I don't think all inflammation is generated by the body. I don't think so. It's got to be something in the food, in the supply. But they're telling you that hatching, incubating protein sources for you, not just for dog food. You see what I mean? They're always digging around. They're always going to say there's a problem with something else so that it can lead to you. It's always leading to you. And I wouldn't be surprised they're not doing it already. Because the body's probably it's going to have a difficult time breaking down things that we weren't designed to process. They want to blame meat for this and blame meat for that. But then somebody brought up a point one time. I said, you just look at our teeth. Are we designed? Were our teeth designed for us to be gnawing on bamboo shoots? Or I'm throwing sauce on it. It's like, oh yeah, we could just throw a bunch of brown sauce on this, or a bunch of red sauce on there, and tell these Americans that it's chicken. They'll eat it. Shout out to Derek C. Williams. So, we got on this subject because we're talking about Tyson Foods and their new business partnership with ProTix. Now, when I think of ticks, I'm automatically going to bug zone. Bug. Hi, Proverb Nation. I appreciate you guys for pounding that, not pounding sand, but pounding that like button. I saw the double digits come in, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Stripes, roll them out, crank them out. But hang on just a second. I'm gonna read your comments as soon as I can. I will shortly. Believe me, I will do it. But yeah, so ProTix is on the way. So if you're a Tyson Foods, Tyson Foods is not going to be the only one that's doing this. I'm not completely naive. Most of the time when they release something, they're already doing it. Okay, everything from incubated meat sources, Cheek Swab and Meat Labs. Now we've got Tyson Foods putting their stamp on their sustainability project, and they're going to go through your dog food. I don't have a dog, so that's not a mouth that I have to feed. So no. But I would imagine that those things were already inside of their food. But for human beings, we have different systems, right? I've even heard people say, "Oh, dog food is better than some human food," which I can't testify to that because I'm not sampling dog food, not by the can, not by the dry. I mean, and then what is it? Somebody else was saying that the cereal is no good. What was it? Who is it? The Kellogg's, the guy the CEO from Kellogg's or one of those cereal companies. Basically, he's telling Americans, "Hey, if you can't afford food, eat you some cereal, okay?" That's equivalent to let them eat cake, right? That's no better than you would have a CEO talking about inflation and how Americans just have a bowl of cereal. Now, some people, it's one thing if you like having cereal and you could have a bowl of cereal by choice, then just, eat your bowl of cereal by choice. But don't tell people that they're going to eat cereal for dinner and that's the kind of life, that's the life that they've got to lead. We need to be told by a CEO of Kellogg's cereal that because of inflation, a family should just eat a bowl of cereal. What's in those bowls of cereal? Last time I did. So why in the world? I mean, it's typical. It's typical. There you go. Well, we get that truth coming out. It's right on, very timely there. The sirens wail. That you've got a Kellogg CEO telling consumers, "Oh, come on over to the cereal industry. Let them eat cake." Derek C. Williams says Cheerios. I'm definitely going to go back as soon as I get a chance here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the food consumption and the issues with it, it's only going to get worse. And in fact, I just think that it's the daily food consumption is making people sick. That's what I contend. I'm contending that the food supply out right now, the current one, is already making people sick. So can you imagine if they start breeding and what do you think they're going to be bred with? Pretty soon, like in many cases, some people don't even see insects or butterflies anymore. They've already, let's see, I might grab a couple comments here. Let's see, Derek C. Williams, 72 doses of the 18 mocktails. Typically a child will get 3 mocktails, but it's 9 different ingredients. Children cannot tolerate that. He also says in the early 2000s, the say whistleblower Dr. William Thompson admitted they knew that the MMR mocktails caused a 240% increase in the ism in black boys if given within the first 6 months of life. Okay, there is a huge uptick of the ism. I'm seeing that across the board. But see, that's what I'm saying. Study your weaknesses. Just like that's why I say that the truest thing I've ever heard spoken is, they said the biggest bar that I ever heard dropped in 2023 was that the devil knows you by your pain, not by your name. And when he doesn't know it, he always wants to know it. He wants to know what your pain is. He knows us by our pain and not by our name. And if he doesn't know it by our pain, he's looking for it. So I'm just saying, shout out to Derek C. Williams. So when you have all these politicians and we're going to do a study, we're going to commission studies, like they talk about reparations. Well, they're always studying black boys, and they're studying, they want to know your pain. So you can be manipulated and gouged and triangulated, and so they can mess you over 6 ways from Sunday. That's why they do it. They're not studying you for the greater good. It's a swath of studies out there. They know what's good for you, and they know what's bad for you at this point. There's nothing that they don't know. It's like there's nothing that they haven't been mining and digging into. A lot of these things make people with pre-existing conditions, makes them worse. Whatever it is, whatever your weakness is, whatever your pain is, it will be magnified. And I think the food is, whatever it is, I think the food is no different. The food is subject to the same, it's going to give you the same kind of, the food is going to offer you the same kind of, you're going to have the same kind of challenges. So that's it, and that's all, as they say. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in, but keep an eye on Tyson Foods. I'm not sure where this facility is going to be built, but it's definitely going to be U.S. based. But I'm going to tell you, the more stuff comes out, the more that comes out. A lot of people walked away from a certain big pharma company, and I don't know if people are going to walk away from these industries once they start realizing what they're putting in the food. And you'll find it interesting if these people that work in these plants, if they won't eat the food, then that should be a red flag to you. If they don't eat that brand and they work for that brand, that tells me a lot. If you work for Tyson Foods and you don't eat Tyson Foods, then you probably shouldn't be eating Tyson Foods either. Corporate or not, whether you're a corporate employee, or if you know some friends on the corporate level or lower level, then don't do it. There's something in the milk ain't clean, as they say, and as my mom would say, something in the milk ain't clean. So yeah, guys, well, I appreciate it once again, and I probably won't get back to you today. I just had some other thoughts, but they are not they're not necessarily related to this situation, but certainly certainly I think a little bit stirring, because I don't really trust the the kinds of things that are being promoted. And I think we all just survived the Black History Month. It's just it's just been amazing. Anything, whatever the intent was, it's like whatever the fountain had in it, they have totally diluted it. If it started out with great intentions, I have no idea. You don't even recognize it right now. You won't. And I don't recognize that. I don't. I mean, I went to an HBCU. And if you really want it, and not even the students at HBCUs are loving on Black history like that. So you see what I mean? I can't with a lot of with all the folklore stuff. I can't deal with it. Because we're so far from whatever it was supposed to be. It's almost not even worth talking about in most cases. It's like posterity movements and overseers and the ministers and all these people are just frauds to me. They're the swells down. They're controlled opposition. All right, guys. So with all that, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. It's about pro ticks today. All right, so Derek C. Williams says, crickets, literally with Tyson. I read about that. Gary Gage says, I recently seen that TV commercial that by Kellogg's cereal, not just for breakfast anymore. It was a family serving Frosted Flakes for supper. Oh my gosh, I'd love to see that one. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. I got some extra things going on today, but I will see you guys later, probably in studio when I see you again. If not, it'll be one of these and then shortly to follow in studio. All right, guys, I will see you later. Take care.